Oh, hey there, everybody. Look, I gotta say something's really gonna piss a lot of people off, and that's okay. America has backed itself into a corner where we're told we only have two options, red or blue, right or left, Republican or Democrat. And to be honest, both options are broken. Not imperfect, not needs work, broken. And what's worse, the majority of Americans, regular people like me and you, we've been completely orphaned by this system. If you're not screaming with one side or the other, you're treated like you don't exist. Or worse, you're treated like the enemy. And I see this insanity every single day. I can post about saving a life, about literally pulling a baby out of a trap house, and we'll end up with people in the comments, asking stupid questions like, yeah, but, who'd you vote for? Like, I need to understand what side you're on before I can decide if I'm glad you saved that kid or not. Let me be real clear. I just saved a freaking baby. Who I vote for is irrelevant. The fact that we've decided moral worth is now determined by party affiliation is honestly deranged. Somehow we've convinced ourselves that if someone disagrees with us on one issue, they must be evil on all of them. That's not politics. In fact, that's a cult mindset. Here's a crazy radical idea. You can support immigration and believe borders matter. You can welcome immigrants and deport violent criminals who are here illegally. Those ideas are not opposite. You can believe abortion should be rare, tragic, and limited while still recognizing medical necessity, rape, and real-world complexity. It's not extremism. It's called adulthood. You can be pro-life and pro-social safety net. You can be pro-woman and anti-abortionist birth control. You can hold more than two thoughts at once. You can still believe in redemption and believe violent criminals belong in prison. I do both because I live in the real world, not on social media. You can be tough on crime and still understand that mass incarceration alone isn't going to fix what's broken. I've watched handcuffs fail. I've watched compassion without accountability fail too. The answer is not lock everybody up, and it's not let everybody go. The answer is do the hard work in the middle. In that middle, the place where reality lives, that's where most Americans actually stand. The political system doesn't serve the middle. It feeds outrage, fear, and tribal loyalty. So it trains people to ask one question before they decide whether to care. Is this person on my team? And that's why unity posts turn into broken comment section war zones. It's why solving problems takes a backseat to scoring points. And it's why nothing ever gets fixed. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Both parties are addicted to extremes. Both profit wildly from division. Neither one of them's got a monopoly on truth, morality, or solutions. If your worldview can't tolerate nuance, it's not strong, it's fragile. If your compassion only extends to people who vote like you, it's not compassion, it's branding. I don't need you to agree with me on everything. I need you to stop turning neighbors into enemies. We don't need more slogans, even though I just gave you a pretty good one. We don't need more purity tests. We need grown-ups who are willing to gang up on problems, not each other. Violent crime, addiction, human trafficking, broken families, inner-city violence, generational poverty, broken families, corrupt systems. Those problems don't care how you vote, people. They care whether you show up. So no, I'm not interested in playing red versus blue. I'm interested in saving lives, fixing what's broken, and building something better than this endless screaming match of madness. And if that makes me politically homeless, good. Because maybe that's exactly where the rebuild starts. My name, for those of you who don't know, is Ben Owen. I run two awesome nonprofits called We Fight Monsters in Flanders Fields. And before you decide what box to put me in, let me tell you what I've actually done. Just a snippet of it. I worked 17 of the funerals at Uvalde. I'm still in contact with a lot of those families. In fact, I put one of them in rehab just last week. I responded to Club Q shooting in Colorado Springs. I spoke at the vigil. I even eulogized one of the victims, a woman I housed a few years back in Memphis. I run the only several living homes in Memphis that house transgender individuals with their gender identity respected. We've shut down multiple dope houses. We've flipped gang members and dope boys to the right side of the law, pulled women out of sex trafficking, disrupted trafficking networks across the world, helped evacuate thousands of oppressed religious and ethnic minorities during the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. I worked hostage for ransom situations in Haiti, carried medical aid into Haitian refugee camps, worked human trafficking cases in Mexico, evacuated 7 American medical students from indigenous riots in Riobamba, Ecuador. We ran demining operations in Ukraine. I've helped thousands of people immigrate to the United States. I'm actually housing a refugee right now and putting her through college. I evacuated one dude from Afghanistan, self-described gayest man in Afghanistan after the Taliban killed his dad because he was so gay. Guy's doing great now. I responded to the fires in Maui, Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. That's what my life looks like. All right, I see a problem and I find solutions. I don't care who somebody votes for. I don't care who they support. And here's something nobody talks about enough. In all the work I've done around the world and right here at home, not once, not one single time, somebody looked at me and said, hey, before you pull me out of this trap house or save me from this pimp, will you mind telling me who you voted for? I just want to make sure we're aligned before you help me. That never happens. Not in Memphis, not in Haiti, not in Mexico, not Afghanistan, not Ukraine. Because that division, it's not real on the streets, man. It only exists on Facebook, which I understand most of you only know it from Facebook, so whatever. Say what you will about that. On the news, in the comment sections, in the algorithms that profit off of outrage. Generated outrage, I might add. So, from Afghanistan to Ukraine to Maui to the streets of South Memphis, the division's manufactured. Trust me. It's only driving this country insane. And here's where people will get really uncomfortable. I am a rabid supporter of the Second Amendment. I think everybody needs guns. The moment people hear that, they decide they know everything else about me. They assume I'm racist, anti-LGBT, anti-immigration. Clearly, none of that is true. If you just heard anything I said about what we've done, here's the part that matters. You don't have to adopt every belief of a political party just because you agree with one of them. All right? That idea, that concept, it is poisoning America. Right now, both parties are broken. You got one side flirting with authoritarian nonsense, the other most attacks everything that moves and shrugs at massive fraud and institutional decay. Just look at Minnesota and California right now. This isn't even left and right anymore. It is like sanity versus abject insanity. And most Americans, the vast majority of us at least, we're stuck in the middle, doing the work, saving lives, while the extremists on both sides hijack the conversation. This isn't new. The people who built this country actually warned us about it. George Washington famously said the alternate domination of one faction over another is itself a frightful disposition. And James Madison warned, a zeal for different opinions have divided mankind into parties, inflamed them with mutual animosity, and rendered them much more disposed to vex and oppress each other than to cooperate for their common good. Isn't that tragic? They weren't talking about social media, guys. They're talking about human nature. What we need right now is not another political party, another label, or another outrage cycle. We need a voice of reason. We need a generation willing to gang up on the problems instead of each other. And that's starting to feel like it might be a pipe dream. If you can't hear a message of unity without first asking somebody who they voted for, you're not part of the solution. You're part of the noise. Like that's... I don't fit in your box, but honestly, I don't think most of America fits in a box either. Thanks for attending my TED Talk. I love you guys. Share this far and wide. Let's go get some good shit done.